welcome back to another sit down video. If you are new here, my name is Faith. On this channel I do nursing content and lifestyle content. So if you are interested, make sure you hit the subscribe button and watch this video until the end. I guarantee you're gonna love it here. So let's get right into the video. So guys, before I start, forgive me if you hear some noises in the background because I have my baby here and he's awake. Yeah, he's introducing himself. So today I'm gonna talk about my birth and delivery story, and I'm gonna let you know how much I spend to have a baby here, because a lot of you guys, especially people in the US, are asking me, how much did you pay? How much did you pay? How much was your bill? So I'm gonna talk about that today. So first of all, my delivery is nothing like I expected it, but I kind of had a hint of what is gonna happen. Of course, I'm a nurse. I know how things go. Performed a lot of deliveries, so I know what goes on, but you'll never be ready for what can happen in the delivery room. So first of all, when I was about to have my baby, the last months of my pregnancy, I was so tired and I was so swollen, and they did my glucose tolerance test twice at the doctor's office and I failed all of it. So they diagnosed me with gestational diabetes. So I was taking my blood sugars every single day, 3 times a day, but my blood sugar was okay. And the funny thing during my pregnancy is my cravings was cake. So I could really eat lemon cake. So I thought that's what really contributed to my sugars being out of whack. So I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. Sorry about that. I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes during the pregnancy, in my last stages of pregnancy. So on my final lap of my pregnancy, my gynecologist suggested that I may have a C-section if I don't, if I exceed, was it 30? No, the moment I hit 39 weeks, I was supposed to have a C-section. She told me that she will allow me to go up to until 38, just before 39 weeks. She will not allow me to go to 40 weeks or past. She said to her that is a malpractice because I have gestational diabetes. And who wants surgery? I never wanted to have surgery. So I told her I'm gonna think about it. So the last time I went to the doctor's office, I told her to at least give me time, like push it like a week, because my last week of pregnancy I was supposed to move to the new house. I was supposed to get a lot of things in order before so she gave me an allowance of, was it 5 days? So on the day that I started to labor, I was moving. So I moved everything to my new house, and literally that day my friends threw me another baby shower. So I went to that baby shower, and when I came to the house I couldn't do anything. So I just went took my bath and just went straight to bed. And at 11, I remember it was 11:43, I woke up with a gush of water. I was like, I'm not peeing. This is something else. So I rushed to the bathroom, and yeah, that was my water just broke. And I was like, this is not happening. So I stayed in bed because my husband was so tired. I wanted him to rest and at least me try to rest before we go into the doctors. So I was just monitoring the amniotic fluid, just making sure that it's not changing color or something, just to make sure that the baby is okay. So I stayed in the house until 5 a.m. is when we left the house to go to the doctor, to go to the hospital. So the hospital is 8 minutes away, so we just drove there, went to the emergency, and they took me straight to admission in labor ward. So I went there, and when they did my examination, they told me I was 4 centimeters dilated. I was so happy that I was already dilating. So they took me to my bed, and before labor, my gynecologist, she just encouraged me to have an epidural. I didn't want to have an epidural, but then later she told me, why should you be miserable in labor when you can reduce your pain during the labor? So I was like, yeah, maybe I should have an epidural. So I did have one. So at around 10 a.m. is when the anesthesiologist came in, and he gave me an epidural, and I couldn't feel anything from there. Actually, when they gave me the epidural, my blood pressure just dropped to the floor, and the baby's heart rate was going down. So they had to give me something else to bring up my blood pressure, and I was feeling okay during, like I can say I was like a zombie. Like I couldn't feel my legs, I couldn't feel anything. So they put me on the monitor, and they put the baby on the monitor, and I was going okay in labor. I was dilating fine, and I wasn't feeling any pain. The baby's heart rate was okay. They did my lab works, and I was fine, but they told me I had low platelets. So they were kind of worried about that, but I didn't mind. I don't know. I was not worried at all. I just wanted it to be over. So I was in there sleeping. Yeah, the doctor told me your platelets are low. That's what we are concerned about. I said, I'll leave it to God to handle it. So I was just laying there from 7 a.m. when I was taken to labor ward, and until around 4 p.m. I was 8 centimeters. So I was dilating steadily, but then from 4 p.m. From 3 p.m. I couldn't dilate anymore. Like every time they did the exam, I was 8 centimeters. So at around 6 p.m. the doctor came in. She was like, well, we need to go to theater because it seems like your labor you're not progressing. So I told her, no, I don't want to go to theater. I don't want to have surgery. So yeah, she was like, well, okay, I'm gonna give you another hour and we'll see. So at the same time, my mom from back home, she kept calling, asking how I was doing. Every time I could tell her I was 8 centimeters from 3 p.m. She's like, you're not progressing. That's not fine. So the doctor told me at 6 p.m., yeah, we need to go to surgery. I said no. At 7 p.m., she came back. She was like, no, we need to go to surgery. I said no. So at 7 p.m., I was like, and my husband was there, and he didn't, my husband was there, but he didn't want to really make the decision. He left it to me. He could just like support me, but yeah, yeah. So he was there also worried because nothing is progressing and time is moving. Well, the baby's heart rate was okay, but I wasn't progressing. So later on at 7:30, when I looked, because I had indwelling catheter, the catheter, I looked at my urine. First of all, when they put in the catheter, I wasn't producing much urine. Like I had like 50 mils, 100 mils. I was like, what's wrong with me? And they couldn't let me eat. They couldn't let me drink anything. I was so thirsty. I just felt dehydrated. So I could keep begging them to give me some ice. They give me some, but yeah, so the output was so low. So at around 7:38ish, I looked at my urinary catheter. I looked at the urine bag and the urine was bloody. That's when I knew I had an obstructed labor. So right then and then, I took the advice of my mom, because my mom was like, you're not gonna let this baby go into distress and that becomes an emergency. Let's just do the surgery. And also my friend came over and she was like, I think we just need to go to theater because we don't want to have an emergency. So I decided to just, yeah. So the doctor came in at 8. I told her, well, I'm gonna just go to surgery. So it was until 10 p.m. is when they took me out for surgery. And from that time, actually most of my labor, I couldn't keep like I wasn't awake most of it. I kept falling into deep sleep. I don't know what that is. And they kept telling me my blood pressure was high, but the baby's heart rate was okay. So in surgery, I couldn't remember anything. I had spinal anesthesia. It wasn't supposed to make me like out of it. I was supposed to be awake, but then just numbed from the waist downwards. But I was sleepy. So my husband kept talking to me just to keep me awake. And I couldn't be awake. So when I finally at least opened my eyes, I saw the nurse that was assisting my doctor, and she had the face shield on and it was bloody. I was like, what's going on? I asked her, am I okay? She said, yeah, you're fine. Well, I went back to sleep. And then I woke up, I saw a pint of blood running. I asked them, whose blood is this? They told me, that's your blood. We had to refilter it and retransfuse you because you're bleeding a lot. I was like, oh my God. And then suddenly they woke me up and they showed me the baby. I could only open my eyes for 1 second, saw the baby, and I said, thank God, and I went back to sleep. So they took the baby to NICU because I couldn't even open my eyes. And my husband was in there trying to talk to me. Was at my side during the surgery, trying to keep me awake, but I just couldn't be awake. So yeah, so I thank God that I went through surgery, but I really bled. And even after surgery is when now I woke up to my uterus on fire. Like I was cramping. Like labor was not even like that. Like my contractions were not even like that before they gave me the epidural. They told me that they were running a lot of uterotonics. The syntocinol, they gave me something else just because I was really bleeding a lot. So they gave me a lot of those. So I was like, you need to give me something to numb this pain because it's too much. So they gave me some more, I think they gave me pethidine or something, and I felt a little better. But the the recovery room nurse was so nice. She kept talking to us. She kept talking to my husband. It's when I was a little bit awake after they took the baby out. And they told me my blood pressure is still high. And my gynecologist came in and she told me, well, you really bled, so we had to transfuse you. And your blood pressure is still high. You have severe preeclampsia. So if this keeps being high, you're gonna fit, like you're gonna convulse. And so she told me, we're gonna take, if once we are done here, we're gonna take you to the postnatal side, to your room, and then we might give you magnesium. Magnesium is usually used to bring down the blood pressure, and yeah, just it's more majorly used for preeclampsia. So I was just happy my baby was okay, but the baby was taken to NICU. So I had a little bit of time to sleep, and they took me to postnatal at around 1 a.m. So I went to my room and they put me in bed, and I couldn't, like, I just didn't want anyone to disturb me, so I kept sleeping. But the only thing I kept asking for was ice cubes. I was so thirsty. So I slept, but you know, when you're in the hospital, the nurses, the techs, everyone's gonna keep coming in, the lab people, to do their stuff. So not much sleep when I was in there. So at around 4 a.m., almost 5, they brought me the baby. I couldn't believe I was looking at my baby. He was just the cutest thing I've ever seen, and he was so big. And my doctor told me, your baby was too big. I don't think you could have been able to get him out normally. So that's the reason why I couldn't progress. My baby was 9.7 pounds. Yeah, that is how many kilograms? Let me see. 9.7 pounds. That is, my baby was 4.4 kgs, so I couldn't push him out. That's the reason why my labor just stalled and I couldn't progress. So yeah, so I had to have a C-section after all. So yeah, but I thank God I have my baby now, and he came out safe and he came out cute. And he's the best gift I've ever received in life. Like, when you have a baby, everything changes. Like, your focus changes, the way you think. It's just a whole new world. It's a whole new world of discovery. Like, you have someone who just depends on you. You can't think of anything else. Anything you think, you have to think around him. So he's like your little boss. Yeah. So yeah, he's so precious, and I thank God that he's here. I thank God that we have him now, and I thank God that I am safe now. So coming to the most anticipated, the most asked question, how much did I pay? I'll tell you for free, healthcare is not cheap here. There are programs that can help you to reduce that, like they can pay your bills. Yeah. There are programs that can pay your bills. They can help you, like reduce the burden of bills, like Medicare, but then you have to qualify to get that. There was a video that I did comparing having a baby in Kenya and here. And for some reason, I couldn't upload the whole video. I don't know what happened, but I'm trying to get the whole video to be re-uploaded. So, the healthcare is very expensive here in the US, and I just don't understand why. I don't understand why the US has to give, like, well, let me not say that. I don't understand why it's expensive to have a baby here when we have all these aids going out. If I were in my country, back in my country, if I wanted to, I could have given birth almost freely. If I wanted to. Say hi, baby. Say hi. Hi, boo-boo. Yeah. So if I wanted to, I could have had my baby for free. But almost free. Not really totally free, but it's very cheap back at home. But healthcare here is crazy. So we're gonna work together because he's awake now and he doesn't want to be down. So what I paid, I just thank God that I had insurance, and the insurance paid a lot of my bills, much of my bills. So my bill, I don't know if it can focus. My bill was $63,350 US. That's like 7 million plus Kenyan shillings. Yeah, that's how crazy it is. The babies here are expensive. So yeah, but the insurance paid 50,342 out of it. So I have to pay around 13,000 and something. That's what I'm going to pay. 13,000 in Kenyan shillings is like if you convert with the currency, right, the exchange rate right now is kind of like close to 1.5 million Kenyan shillings. That is a lot. And then for him, well, we had the bills for the baby and the bills for me. For him, I'm trying to get his bill is here. For the baby, I had to pay he's on another, well, I took a different thing, but I had to, for the baby, the whole bill was 13,000 USD, and I had to, the insurance paid 9,700 USD, and I have to pay around 3,000 and something out of pocket. So the whole bill that I'm paying out of pocket is around 17,000. So it's a lot of money, 17,000 USD. So if you come here as a nurse, make sure if you want to have a baby, try to apply anyway for the Medicare. You may be lucky and you may get it, and they will pay a lot of your bills. They may even clear the whole bill for you. But just make sure you have a health cover. I took my health cover as a low plan. Well, I never knew that I'm gonna get pregnant soon. So mine was a low plan. I'm thinking if it were a high plan, they could have covered most of the bill. But mine was a low plan, and yeah. Bless you, baby. And that's why I have to pay around 16,000, 17,000 out of pocket, which is a lot of money. I have to really work to pay that. But now I have the baby. Yeah, we just gonna figure out. The best thing is that we have the baby now. This baby they are priceless. So I thank God, I can't complain. But if you want to have a baby here, just take this into consideration. Don't be without a health cover, because I've realized I've worked in the hospital here, and there are some people who just don't have health insurance. It's just not, they don't care for it until they become sick. So yeah, so that is it, guys. That is how much I paid. I'm sorry, boo boo, sorry. What? Here. That's how much I paid to have a baby here. And that was my labor and delivery story. Just know that when you are pregnant, keep your pregnancy in God's hand, because no one knows how anything can turn out. Pregnancy especially is never, you never know what. It's like life and death. Is actually crazy what women go through. Pregnancy is not easy. So you just need to put your life in God's hand and your baby's life in God's hand. And when the baby comes here, you also need to tell God to take over, because motherhood is a different kind of journey that sometimes needs a whole lot of strength. So yeah, that is gonna be it for today. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for hanging around until this time, and until next time, goodbye. Say bye. He's busy. Alright, see you guys. Bye.